Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 26th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a broad overview that we can all relate to, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep into each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. So as we come into this week, one of the aspects that's not really been discussed very much is the fact that Saturn, the planet of structure, in one of its two home zones of Aquarius, is in a semi-sextile with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So we've got two planets located in their home berths, so they're in dignity. This semi-sextile is interesting because we're seeing some major structural changes in the world, and this week of course is very much to do with Capricornian energy because we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Pluto all in that sign. We also have Venus and Mercury coming into a conjunction on the 29th, despite Mercury going into retrograde that day. And also on the first day of 2023, Venus and Pluto come into an exact conjunction. So why am I talking about Saturn and Neptune in Aquarius and Pisces? Because I feel it's the direction of travel that's starting to open up. Once Pluto moves into Aquarius on the 24th of March, okay, it's just a brief journey through to early June this coming year, but it will be back for the long term through to year 44 from the 21st of January 2024. And the Aquarian energy that we're being pulled towards is more about a higher consciousness about how each of our individual behaviours, because Aquarius is very much the sign of the individual, but also how that collectively works with one another. Whereas Capricornian energy is much more to do with the established, the more ordered way of doing things that has become more the precedence over time. So I think that Capricornian energy, as we come into the start of 2023, is still really important, and having Venus and Pluto in a conjunction, my word, that can lead to some fated developments for many people throughout the year. But with Mercury in a retrograde, that's given us a bit of a clue that we need to rethink how we handle resources, how we approach things to do with materialism. Just what value do we put on those old-fashioned notions of status, big properties, big cars? All of those things are going to come under increasing stress through the energy that's going to develop with Pluto in Aquarius. And Saturn has given us a taste over the last few years. So the angle between Saturn and Neptune is asking us to blend our perceptions and our sensitivities with the more progressive side of our thinking and how that interacts with other people. Now, it is also true to say that even though Mercury goes into the retrograde, which it will emerge from on January the 18th, it will still be in its post-shadow retrograde through to the 7th of February. So the early parts of 2023 are not necessarily going to be a straightforward plan. So we can set those New Year's resolutions. I should say that on New Year's Eve itself, the moon is in the sign of Taurus, where it really likes to be. It's exalted here, so a lovely place to be, and it's actually forging a beautiful semi-sextile to Jupiter, the planet of growth, newly arrived back in the sign of Aries. So I think that kind of says to us that the moon in Taurus is very much an appreciation of the good things in life, whether it's good food or good wine, but the Jupiterian energy is asking us through its rulership of Pisces to be mindful of the spiritual dimension, but also that we may have to refocus our longer term aims and goals because the world is changing radically, whether it's through automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, because we have the internet and technology has become at the core of so many of our lives. But as we come into the new year, and I'd like to wish you a very happy new year, On Sunday, the first day of this new dawn, that combination between Venus and Pluto is something to be mindful of, particularly in terms of business situations, because someone very charming and very persuasive is a person many of us will encounter in the new year. But we need to make sure that we're watching out for what the true motivations are of them and perhaps of ourselves on that particular event. So a lot of energy in the sign of Capricorn. That is asking us to think about goals, ambitions, and also it could be a culmination of a lot of effort that's gone in over a long period of time, where some people could get a deserved reward. But I think for many of us, what's absolutely true about modern life is that staying exactly as we are just isn't really an option, because the environment around us, quite literally, but also the interhumanal environment, is quite literally changing by the second. So sticking with those old objectives and those old ways of measuring what's important in life, such as the size of the property we live in, are going to make way much more for how we connect to other people and how we can find kinship, but also how we can find our individuality beyond the realm of purely making money. And I must stress, there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money whatsoever. So please stay with me for your in-depth zodiac forecast. But if you've yet to get your year 2023 12-month personal forecast, if you order it now, you can get your life roadmap as well, 2 charts, and 30% off. But I will also give you your general 12-month forecast, your Chinese forecast for the year, and your Indian forecast. They're all 3 within the package. Please see the link below. So Capricorn, your week commencing the 26th of December forecast. Is it really interesting, because your sign is about culmination. It's about the outcome of a lot of hard work that begins in the zodiacal story with the sign of Aries, which Jupiter has just moved into. Now for you, from the view of your sun, the sign of Aries is house 4. So Jupiter's just moved into the part of your situation to do with expanding your emotional understanding and awareness. Could be to do with property issues that you're going to benefit from, despite the contraction that we're seeing unfold through to the middle of May, when obviously Jupiter goes into Taurus. But that's going to be a great opportunity for you in the second half of 2023. But this week, rather than culmination, I think the planets are asking you to think about the plans that are ongoing that haven't reached the place that you want them to get to, and to make some decisions. Are there certain things that you need to realistically just let go of because they're no longer going to serve your greater purpose? Or are there things that you need to set your intention to even stronger in terms of injecting more energy, more passion and more determination, but they may not necessarily give you the reward straight away? Now, there may be other facets of your situation which you can see what's shaping up in a more substantive manner. But generally speaking, because Mercury is slamming on the brakes, I think it's something about your creativity in its conjunction with Venus that maybe you're wanting to retune. For example, if you've got a good job, but you don't feel very emotionally stimulated by it, these influences are saying, is there something else you could do that would be so much more exciting and enjoyable, even if the money wasn't as good? And of course, with Venus combining with Pluto, which has been really impacting on you hugely since 2008, your personality power can be very important to the success of this project, relationship, involvement, or otherwise. So I think it's an interesting point for you. And if something isn't working and you decide to just let it go, don't beat yourself up about it. This can happen with Mercury retrograde in the first house. But I feel that you have to find a way to manifest what makes you an individual in a more satisfying manner. Your life journey has, to some degree, been about conforming to expected structures, because that's the rulership of Saturn to your sign. Now, it could be that you've got Sagittarian inner planets in your particular natal chart, or some Aquarius, and you're much more rebellious and not so much of a conformist. But you can certainly be patient, very applied, working towards targets in a very step-by-step and systematic way. And that's still there. That's still part of your celestial toolkit. But you need to be working with things now that just give you a much greater sense of excitement, creativity, artistry. So as you make your decisions and set your New Year's resolutions, do bear that in mind. Do take care, and all the best, and Happy New Year.